Welcome to SoulWhat, a Soultopia production. Every Tuesday, Michelle and Roger Welch take a deep dive into the intriguing and proactive world of metaphysics, a world beyond our human perception. They'll talk to empaths, readers, and other guests from all walks of life to find out what's hiding under the surface, uncover the mysteries of our modern world, and reveal the answers you need to live a happy, healthier life. Now, here's your hosts, Michelle and Roger Welch.
Hello, everyone.
What's going on tonight, Michelle?
Well, we're back. We kind of look at this thing, Matt. It's like standing right in front of my face.
Well, you can move it if you want to.
I guess we probably need to
No,
wear
maybe this is a
shorter
good
way.
day for it to stand. Hi, y'all.
She's still like me, hiding behind the microphone. She's hiding behind the
No,
microphone.
Karen, I can see you. You look good. Usually we turn them sideways because Matt's taught me to talk into them sideways. But he probably is like, well, watch how this goes. That's going to be
She's on- it's
quiet
gonna be
and
on the
adventure.
floor.
No,
It's going to be
we
on the
won't.
freaking floor in just a minute.
He knows you've been in TV and everything before. You can touch your mic if you want to, but they know if I touch my mic, it's going to be scary.
in the floor.
It'll be in a parallel universe somewhere. In a parallel universe, I probably would know how to fix a mic. Somewhere I'm fixing this mic. right?
Or it could be here if you want.
It could be, or if I really had a positive that way. Well, you can fix yours if you want.
No, I'm good.
But
I'm good. I'm not going to touch it.
look, that's how you. Here I am, y'all. My name's Michelle, and this is Roger, and this is our wonderful guest, Karen Loenser. Thank you so
Hello.
much for being here.
Oh my gosh, thanks for having me.
Thank you. And so she was supposed to be our guest last week, and we have just been going through it. Thank you for just hanging with us, and just I don't know, I was
Going
gonna
with the
say,
flow.
swinging with the flow.
Going with the flow.
Going with the Another thing I do is mix metaphors around here. Hey, you have a high energy. Look, she passes the test, Matt. So anybody that this flickers with,
Oh, yeah?
has like
Excellent.
really high good energy.
I love that.
Right? Or it's a rainy day.
Well,
Take your pick.
But I am going to read your bio because
Sure.
then people will understand why you're so professional and I'm all over the place. It says, I'm excited to share my book, LifeMapping, Decoding the Blueprint of Your Soul. It's not a self-help book. I noticed that right at the top of the back of your book. It's a companion. It's a soul guidebook, a companion on your journey to help you remember and reconnect to your life's purpose. As a 25-year veteran in the television business, I've spent my career producing and creating programming that entertained, educated, and inspired audiences around the world. And then one day, I turned 50. After surviving a divorce, my sister's suicide, and nursing my infant son through a near-death bout with cancer. Wow. I realized that I was way off course, and I needed to figure out how to get back to the real reason I came to this planet. And in doing so, I discovered my life map, and that we're all born with one. And I can help you discover yours. Okay, sold. Everybody should want that book, right?
sure. Please.
Right. So as I read your book, and I did read your book, I haven't worked the book yet, which we were talking about before we started. That's a big difference because the book is a working book and you want to work the book. First, let me ask you this. Do you still teach classes on the book?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm new to Dallas, so
Okay.
I'm just starting to kind of meet the right team, and that's one of the reasons I was so excited to come here, was just to meet, like-minded people like you guys. But yeah, I did a lot of it before I left New Jersey, which is where I'm from.
Okay, so let's back up. When I was reading it, the dates were probably there, but dates kind of just fly over me. Time really means nothing to me. When did you come to Dallas?
About a year ago.
Oh, that recently?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I didn't get that because, see, I envisioned you maybe up in the Plano-ish Frisco area.
Oh, well, I've returned. So we
Okay.
lived here about 8 years ago.
Okay.
So the pinpoints in the book, the milestones, were from then. So not just lately. So that's probably what threw you off.
Okay.
So we've only been here, since about a year or so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and I thought, I wondered if, we had maybe cross path. I mean, this would be so helpful for so many people.
definitely.
Yeah. And so we'll just have to get a class going and get this going, because this is like something where as you read it, you guys, you're going to want to get it, but you're also going to want to, it's something that you can work through on your own, but it's something that I think that if you work through in a group, do you do like groups?
Yeah, it's so helpful, especially, and we can talk about kind of the whole overall strategy of doing it. Yeah. But there's things that people will see in your own life experience that you won't see in your own experience, right?
Because you're too close. Book up here, and mine down here, so we can see it, since we don't have an easel to put on here. Okay, so, but let's start with kind of what was the impetus for the book.
Yeah. So the 50 thing was big for me. It was really, and it wasn't even the milestone of the 50, but it was really at that stage of my career and life where I kind of looked around at it. I think everybody kind of does this at that stage of life, where you're just sort of looking at your life and you're thinking, okay, everything on paper looks really good. The job is good, the husband's good, the family's good, done all these wonderful things. The resume looks great. But I literally woke up one morning and I was like, you know what? Something is off. I mean, I literally felt like my soul was dying. It wasn't anything that was material at all, but it was something inside that I felt was really, really off course. And so as I sat there literally that morning, I just started thinking about my life and, you know, all of the things that had happened to me over the course of time. You talked about some of those, the good, bad, and the ugly. And as I started to think about it, each one of them started to have a different meaning when I looked at them as in their entirety. And I literally started taking yellow sticky notes and putting them up on my wall and looking at all the different things that had happened to me over the course of my life. And slowly they started to tell a story, not just about things that I had done and accomplishments that I had had, but real decisions that I made between love and fear. And I really took a step back and I was like, wow, it just told a different story about my life that I had ever seen before.
Right. And so that's when, I guess, when you said, when you're with your book, if we say self-help, but one of the things that grabbed me that I liked is it's not a self-help book. I'm not big into self-help books. Just note to people, I used to wouldn't read them.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, and this, now I will, because a lot of them would say it'd be a book and they'd say the same thing over and over and over again. Now that I've written a book, I'm a lot less apt to be critical of books, okay? Because if you've never written a book, I guess you have a right to critique a book because you're a reader.
Right.
But it is it does cause you pause before you critique and are hard on a book once you've written a book. And now I've written my second one and it's not out yet, but I'm not going to be as hard on people.
Pre-ordered on Amazon. I saw it on there today.
Yeah, it's got the wrong cover on there.
Well,
but it doesn't even come out till June. But it's, you know, what my point being, I would just use, a long time ago, I guess I was too busy living life and not even thinking about improving myself at all. So I just like, all those self-help books, and if they just make 5 points, if they would just make a list of those 5 things, because they didn't lead me through exercises, they didn't really help me, they didn't really tell me examples, and I thought if they could just make a list of those 5 things, I could read that in 2 seconds, I'd be done with it.
Right.
I like how you called this, a soul guidebook. Your reason may not be my reason for why there's a difference, but could you explain why there's a difference?
Yeah, I don't think we need self-help at all, right? I'm one of those people that I really think that we come in with a real purpose, and everything that happens to us, and that's one of the reasons why the milestones are so fun to look at, because every one of us comes in here with a purpose, and we just forget when we get here what it is. I'm sure the people who are watching here, like, this is all real familiar, but for so many people, they're born and they go through all these experiences and they don't have that perspective of, this is life school, right. This is what I'm here to learn. And so for me, I felt like it was really important as I was telling my story and as you go through the book, that you don't look at it as nothing in your life needs to be fixed, right? Every single one of the things that have happened to you have been for a beautiful reason. And if you can look at them for what that purpose is, the whole perspective of your life changes.
That's pretty cool.
And I think that you can get away with saying that, because what you just said, is a hard statement for some. You
Sure.
said
Yeah.
everything that happens in your life happened for a beautiful, I'm paraphrasing, maybe beautiful purpose.
Mm-hmm.
But some of the things that happened in your life,
Yeah. Yeah.
well, we turned 50, that doesn't, but surviving a divorce,
Yeah.
your sister's suicide, and nursing my infant son through a near-death bout with cancer. Those things right there give you credibility almost to be able to say each experience is a beautiful opportunity or whatever, whereas if somebody had never been through anything in their life and they're 20-year-old, or nothing's wrong with being 20, and writing a book that's never experienced those things, and they're saying everything's just a beautiful opportunity, that's hard to receive, and some people will balk at that.
Right.
So could you speak to that a little bit? To say that, having walked through those things, that gives you some credibility to make that statement.
It does, but I also think that everybody has their thing, right? Everybody has a story. Everybody has had their milestones, their challenges that they've gone through. For me, personally speaking, and I talk a lot about our soul guides and our soulmates, right, that are here, our soul squad, really, that come with us. And I think that that's all part of a pact that we make before we come, right? That the person that ended up being the father of my daughter, but not necessarily my soulmate for life, taught me amazing things about love and forgiveness and overcoming. I became a single mom as a result of that. It became pretty darn strong, right? So the lessons that I learned from him were amazing, and now I can really look back and almost thank him for that experience, right? Same thing with my sister, going through that experience. It was terrible. She was my Irish twin. We were very close in age, but the strength that it gave my family, the way we've come together. My mother wrote a book on the subject as well, which inspired me to write my book and learn about all these healing modalities that I would never have learned, which in turn helped me with my son when he went through cancer. As a mother, if your son or anyone in your family is diagnosed with cancer, you would do absolutely anything, right. To heal them. And so through that, it opened up a whole new world of Reiki and holistic practices that I still use today. And so again, I have those experiences and I can look back at them and be grateful for them. But I think what I'd love for everybody to know is that if they do take the time to life map even a little bit of their life, they're going to see they've been through their own set of challenges that they intended to have when they came, and to really give themselves credit for going through them. You don't have to have a momentous thing happen to you to really, be fulfilling what you have intended
That's
to.
That's good to say,
for.
because there are some people who, and thanks for clarifying that for us, because there are sometimes where I'll even say, these beautiful experiences we'll have, and I kind of shy away from it a little bit because people look at you like, well, you don't know. First of all, I do know. They just don't know what my experiences are necessarily. Yep. So you're right. Most everyone probably does have a story. They just haven't all necessarily.
Not all the same. Everybody has their little
and they haven't
degrees
shared.
of separations and haven't shared what they actually have gone through.
That's right.
Not
That's
everybody
right.
has shared. So, Roger, if you had to start, I told Roger when I was reading through it, I said, we need to go to Post-it notes and put down, our moments.
I would love to do the two of you at some point. That would be fun.
I said, what, a Kaizen? We're going to Kaizen around here today?
What'd you say?
Kaizen.
What is
It's
that?
same thing. It's what business. So I want to get this process,
yes.
and you put it on the Post-it notes.
Yep.
It's like, I can do that easily. We'll get some Post-it notes. We'll do it.
But so
How did you do it?
Yeah, so I thought I want to start doing that, but it was really interesting because it got me thinking. And most of those, the big ones, because you go into detail. I mean, you start going into the detail of, you start with that.
Yes.
But then you break it down from there. So tell us where, after you get those life
Milestones?
Because talk us through the first part. You get those, the Post-it notes with the biggies, you know?
Yep.
And then what's the next thing?
So what I love to do is have people really think about sort of the key moments in their lives. And it doesn't have to be all the bad stuff, right? It can be the really good stuff too. It can be little insignificant things that the day I got my first pair of roller skates and it just made my day. Whatever that thing is that kind of comes out to you, and not to edit yourself too much. Just literally, and it's so funny when you see people do it. Some people have like 5 and some people have like 35, because everybody's got like different points of view on their own life. But I think what you do after that is like what I ask people to do is, okay, now look at each one of those and decide, was this something that brought love or fear into your life, right? And you will start to see that as a result of the love milestones, you do have certain life experiences that kind of push you towards, let's say it's, I went to Europe, right? And that was a momentous time in your life. It kind of pushes you towards this like passionate love kind of desire in your own life to chase those things. But if something negative has happened in your life, it tends to bring you down towards fear and all of the things that are associated with fear, worry, loneliness, all the other things. And as you start to map those out, you really start to see the significance that they've had in your life. And then I love to have people look at their soul squad, the people that came in to kind of help usher in those milestones in their life. Were they also part of that fear group that brought them the loneliness or the anxiety or all those other things? And then on the other side too, were they part of the love part of your soul squad? And what did they teach you? And each one of those experiences not only teach you about love or fear, but I think they also start to show you the things that you were supposed to come here to learn.
Right. So do you think, for instance, when your life takes when you have a big shift in your life, okay, you get a new job, a life-changing job. With that, your friends may change.
That's right.
Your situations may change. So, what would you do with that on the map? So you'd have that. What if it's just happened? Okay,
Right.
so where would you be with that, and how would you handle that in your, like, if you've known you needed a change.
Yep.
You've made that change.
Yep.
And you're there.
Right.
And you feel good about it, but you're there, right in that moment. Do you just add it to the thing and let you just see where this goes? Or is there an exercise in the book that you would be doing while you're waiting to see, is this going to be, you sort of feel like you're in between. You've got your soul tribe, your soul gang, your soul people, whatever you want to call them, your soul mates around you. But how do you do the kind of looping your worlds together, so to speak?
Yeah, that
is
the life beat that you see. I think what I would do is, and what I have done with people who like kind of gotten to a certain point, and it's great for the people who don't know where to go next, right? Because within that looking back, it tells a story of who you are,
Right.
and it brings to life all of those things that you do love and the things that you're fearful. And what I always tell people to do first is look at the places where you're most fearful, because that's usually the map to where you're supposed to go next, right?
Yeah.
Because if you've made a big decision, obviously that's been great. You've kind of faced your fear and you've got there.
You've done it. Yeah.
But a lot of people, once they've made a big decision, don't know where to go next. And so I really have them focus on the things that they fear the most, because that also begins to tell a story, right?
Right.
Of things that they, because those are the things that they're supposed to learn, right?
Right.
And so trying to flip those, trying to take those fear things out of their vocabulary and flip them into things that are positive. So let's say it's, I've quit my job and I have no other job, right? It's looking back on all of those life milestones of the things that they have loved and the things that have drawn them into where their passion is and maybe that they haven't followed. And then starting to really create some positive, affirmative ideas, not just affirmations, but steps of how to get out of that fear to where they want to go.
Okay. Yeah.
So what about, so because you're talking about like, I take my whatever's happened, good, bad, whatever, and how it's actually, how I relate it to my life going on. What about two people like Michelle and me, different points in life that she has and I have, but then the ones that we have together? How about that?
I think I have not done that yet with a couple, so maybe we really do need to life map you guys out, because it would be really great. I think, here's the thing, as a couple, it can be a challenge, right? I think you do have to talk about the things that you both want and agree on that. But I always kind of come back to the individual, because I think you really have to start and really understand who you are and where you're going and what's really important to you before you can have sort of that combined conversation. And if it works, like if ideally you are on the same page or you're close enough on that path to where you can kind of see the journey ahead.
Yep.
But this is really about the you and your soul. And I think not enough people do that work. They don't take the time first to recognize really who they are and celebrate that a little bit.
Yeah.
And then utilize these tools to kind of map their way forward.
I agree with that. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
No, that's fine. I think what you said, we don't take the time. I mean, we kind of, that whole thing of just letting life happen to us, I mean, we just go along and all of a sudden we look up and we are 50 or we are,
Yes.
and then life has just sort of, I'm not trying to use cliches, but it is that way. It has sort of just happened, and we're like, kind of, how did I get here?
Well, yeah, and I
know?
think that's the also big message. I really focused a lot on the 50-year-old woman in this, because that's literally where I was, and a lot of my friends ended up sort of in the same place where it's like, oh my gosh, the kids are going off. I'm here. I've done all of this stuff for them. Now where do I go? And so many of them feel like it's too late to move forward. And that's why I think it's such a fun exercise to look back. Like my sister is the perfect example. That's exactly what happened to her. Her kids left, and she's like, ugh, I've just never known what I wanted to do. I've never known what my purpose was. And I'm like, I bet we can find it. And through following these steps, it really does help spark that, oh my gosh, what can I do from here? Like when I turned 50, that's when my whole life changed. And by using these tools, I mean, I was able to really put the fear aside, because we're all fearful. We're all fearful of what's ahead and making the wrong decision. But it made me make decisions, and it made me make them based on knowing myself better and knowing that I was here for something really important. And we all are something really important.
Right. And I always say, I mean, I agree with you that we all have a purpose. I think we may have more than one purpose. I will say that, multiple purposes within our purpose. I would,
of course.
Yeah. I mean, I think that goes without saying.
Yeah.
And but it is interesting that one of the biggest things people come in. I was asked this on one of the TV the news interviews. They were during COVID. They were like, "What's the biggest question you get, even during COVID? Is it about health?" And I was health, and I was like, "Well, always love from a lot of people." But it was also purpose. And they were like, oh, is it, younger children, not younger children, but younger adults ask that. And I was like, no, it's not younger adults who usually ask that.
Right.
It is literally like 50 and up.
Yeah. I mean,
even maybe 40 and up. It's like, what is my life's purpose?
Yeah.
They want to know what their purpose is.
We all do. I mean, I keep saying, like, the fun of this is almost like, let's do the life review before you do the life review.
Yeah.
Right? And this really gives you that opportunity to do that, but then also to take action. You're right. Not everybody we have multiple purposes, of course.
Yeah.
Being a mom, all those other things that we're here to do. But I believe that we always have this one thing that we really, there's just always that little calling of like, I want to make sure that I do this. And so I think at 50 or wherever you are in your lifetime is a great time to do it, because you have so much opportunity still in front of you that you can utilize if you know who you are.
Well, and I don't think you would have that burning question to want to know if it was just time to just, okay, well, I've done that and there's nothing left for me to do. And so many people will feel that way. They'll feel like, okay, what do I do now? And I've raised my kids, I'm an empty nester, and even if they are still married, okay, even if they, the marriage is intact and, but if, let's say they had decided to stay home with the kids or whatever it is, or maybe they still will have those questions, and they'll come in, and it has never ceased to amaze me how many, it's primarily women, and I'm just being honest, it is, primarily women who will say, I don't know what my purpose is in life.
Yeah.
And this book will, I keep going to mine now, this book will help, because as opposed to a reading will help, but it takes a lot of readings to get to what's the core of you. You know, what's going on with you that you don't feel good about yourself. I mean, there's something going on with you deeper than, you know, what, let's pull a card and here's what you're supposed to do in your life.
No.
Now, I have had it where I'm known to be able to say, you know, have you ever tried this? And thankfully, it's come through me, some information that's gotten somebody, you know, on the right path.
Sure.
Without doing a lot of work around it. But I do think that's probably something that requires some work around it. You know?
Yeah, and I think what I try to put in here as well is, there's lots of stories of lots of women who got to a certain point in life and didn't know what to do, and how did they do it? Where did they go? How did they find what their purpose was?
Yeah.
I also love to share lots of the healers, teachers, practitioners that have gone before, right? The Wayne Dyers, all the people that have like inspired me over time, because there's so many. It doesn't just have to be my book, there are many. And then what I also love is, just like you were saying, there's so many fun tools to try, right? So many people don't know the basics of astrology or numerology or angel cards or all the little magical tools that they can utilize too. So I tried to sprinkle some of those in there as well, because I think everybody's just looking for their buffet of tools that they can use, and hopefully they can learn some of them in the book.
Right, but I think it does take a little bit of work sometimes to get to the essence of who you are, as opposed to just, you know, that easy fix, easy answer. So the book, you know, as I was, and I do read really fast. We say it here all the time. I read every book that comes in the store, and I read quickly. Matt, your book's the one I think I haven't read yet, because I'm reading the ones that come in the store, and they come in so fast. But I read every book that I put on my shelves and in the store. And so, like I said, I haven't worked through it yet. But I think that it takes. Sometimes people do want that quick, easy fix to some of the issues in their life, and sometimes it does take work, like we were talking about, or at least time to sit down and say, let's think about this.
Yeah.
And that's why I think a class or sessions with you would be, do you do sessions?
I do. I
Okay.
do one-on-one sessions. I love doing those, especially at least for the initial one, because at least it allows some individual time, and I'm really good at asking those questions that I think get the answers out of people. That, again, there's always that moment where everybody like, I had no idea. Like, I had no idea that I was that person. And so it's like, it's nice just to be able to be that sort of outsiders looking into their lives and being able to give them that perspective.
So we'll get the information at the end. We'll give it to them, how they get a hold of you for that too, because that would be really important for people to make appointments,
so.
right?
Oh, yeah.
So what do you think your life purpose is, babe?
Supporting you.
What do you mean supporting me?
Making you look good.
Oh, that kind. I was like, you don't have to support me.
Does that very well.
Comedic relief.
Comedic, no.
That's all it is.
You work
Comedic
really
relief.
hard. Nah.
I even get Mac to laugh every now and then.
He hides his face and giggles under here. Don't you? Because he didn't want me to get mad. Matt, don't say that.
Don't support him, Matt.
You can support him, just not at my expense. No, what do you think your purpose is, babe?
Really, comedic relief.
See, I'm laughing.
That's all it is.
Do you think the stores, do you think Soultopia is part of your purpose?
Probably, yeah, I think so, because, I mean, if you go back and you look at all the kind of the things that taken place through the years for me, to me, and everything else, right? It's kind of just leading up to this, up to the stores. And then you got to think about, okay, beyond the stores, what's next?
There you go. There you go.
So
Living
how
on
do
a
you feel
deserted
about
island.
that? I mean,
You know what I love to do is I love to challenge people to look at their life like a movie, right? Like, take a step back, pretend that it's not you, it's someone else. And how do you want their story to turn out, right? You see all these things happen to them, but you kind of want like there to be a really cool, happy ending at the end. And that's a really good place to go from, once you've mapped your life out and you're like, okay, all this stuff has happened, right?
right.
But this is how I want like the happy ending to look
Yeah.
like, or the mysterious ending.
Yeah.
But it's a really fun game to play because it kind of takes you out of that hot seat and it kind of lets you be the director of your own life.
I like that. The twist at the end, maybe.
Yeah.
That's a good one. You
Yeah,
don't get
so
to
you have
write
to think
mine.
about that.
I'm gonna write yours.
Where
I'm
do you
gonna
want to
start
be?
writing
We
that
kidded
tonight.
each other.
So when you figure out, okay, I'm at these points in life, and I know I need to make some changes. Here's where I want to be. What's the steps between identifying everything and identifying where you want
Where to go next? Yeah, I think it's your comfort zone, right? For me, I decided at that point in time, I was like, shit or get off the pot, Karen. If you want to do certain things, just do it.
Yeah.
And the more I really looked at my life and realized that I had the purpose, it gave me the confidence. Like, hey, I came in here to do this stuff, so why am I worried about it? Why am I so fearful? And it gave me the confidence, like, to quit my job, to move across the country, to start something completely new that led me on this amazing adventure. And I think if there's any kind of like advice I would love to give people is like, hopefully what you'll see is yourself as this person of potential that can do just about anything they want. And once you get to that place and can really look ahead and just go, what is the big dream? What is the thing that I really want to do? How do I want the movie to end?
Yeah.
Hopefully it gives people
Yeah, I
that,
like that.
that energy to go for it.
And I think that when we stop feeling like we have to play or be in the book that was written for us, or the movie, that script that someone else wrote for us.
That's
I think
right.
That's
That's
really
such
important.
a good way. Yes, that is so very true. I mean, I have so much more courage now than I did when I was 50 because I just decided that I wanted to go for it. I wanted to go do this big dream, and it's just it's like I keep saying, like, it's the rocking chair moment. It's like, where do I want to be when I am at the end of the movie, when I'm 90 years old and I'm looking back at my life and all of the other milestones I've yet to create. I want to have a really good story to tell, and we can all do that.
Right.
We all can do that.
And I even say, at each moment, a story, with every decision I make, I try to ask, is that a story that later, when am I going to want to tell the outcome
That's
of
right.
that story? And we've heard that before. Is that something I'm going to want to say, that I'll be proud to say?
Yeah.
Not proud in that moment, and boy, I really got them. But 5 years down the road, I'm really proud of how I handled that situation. And I think if we do that with every decision we make.
You're better at it than me.
What?
You're better at it than me.
Sometimes not.
It's
And
hard.
it's
I mean, let's be
hard,
honest. I mean, especially if you're
human.
not afraid, if you are afraid about what to do next, or you feel like things are happening to you instead of for you, right? It is. But hopefully, like, there's little tools in this book that, and let's face it too, if you're in the moment, if you're in the midst of the divorce and you're in the midst of a diagnosis, it's almost impossible to get yourself out of that point.
Right.
And you have to live in that for a moment to be a real human being, right?
Right.
But I think the thing is that you always have the choice. You always have that power. And that's like another thing I want to remind everybody always is it's your choice between love and fear. That's really what it all comes down to. At every single moment, at every phase of your life, no matter what happens to you, you always have that power to choose between the two.
Give us an example with, let's say, whichever one of those you want to use. What would be your first step that would help you step into love, or that for you was out of the fear when it's one of those really tough situations? What would be your best advice when somebody's in that situation? They've gotten that horrible diagnosis. I know every situation is different. I
Yeah.
understand that. But is there anything that you could give somebody to hang on to, and that could be broad enough, or can you not answer that because it's too specific?
Wow. I mean, I can only talk about it, I think, in my own situation, right, where I've had those moments, and I think it is leaning into the fear at first. I think that's okay to do that, to be real about it. But I think, again, for me, I think it was owning that moment, but also knowing that it's really just what I said, is that at this very moment in time, it's up to me. I have power no matter what happens to me, no matter what the diagnosis. It's not the prognosis, right? I get to decide how I'm going to react to this situation.
Right.
And I really do think that that's leaves the power always within you. It's not outside, it's always inside.
So I can't remember that. I'm going to get, since you put it in the book, I'm going to ask it here.
Yeah.
Was this the order? So you were married, you were divorced, and then your sister committed, and I've changed this committed suicide to you guys to died by suicide. I read that on a suicide hotline. Just mull it over. I put it in my new book, Try It On for Size. They said that there's almost that on the suicide hotline. They're starting to think that there's a little stigma to that. So they've started saying, that could be being too sensitive. I don't know, but but committed suicide. The bout with cancer, and then your sister's suicide, and then your infant son. I'm curious, was that a son from a second marriage, or was this back with the first?
Yeah,
one?
it was my second marriage.
Okay, so it wasn't what caused the.
No.
Okay.
No.
I didn't think when I read it was that way. So this is in order. Okay.
Yeah.
Because sometimes that does happen.
Yes.
And so he's okay, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's 20.
Everybody's going to want to know before they
He's
read the
20.
book, so.
He's more
Should
than
say
okay.
you have to read the book to find out.
No, he's he's booking himself.
Yeah.
He's more than okay, but I mean, that was such a great teaching experience, right? I was a corporate executive. I was really used to running my own show. I was not used to be sitting in a hospital room with a toddler being told by doctors what to do. Right.
Oh, wow.
It was, and he had a 1 in a million. I mean, there was just so many things that went with it. And so it was like a snowball of things that happened to me all at the same time. But I also want to say that I think it was my biggest transition time too, because I think because all of this stuff was happening to me, I had to take my power back. I really did. And I think that was the thing that made me realize, oh my gosh, I can manage through all of these situations. So why can't I manage through my own life? Why can't I manage doing what I want to do? What am I afraid of when I've already faced all of that other fear?
Right. I mean, you did all your, the television, you're creating programming that entertained. You spent my career producing, creating, programming, educated and inspired audiences around the world. I'm assuming you were doing that in the corporate world before all this happened.
Oh, I was, but I wasn't doing it for any purpose that was meaningful to me. And after all of this happened, I realized I had this metaphysical crazy growing up where my mom was very Catholic, but she would also bring in like gypsies and tarot card readers into the house, right? And my father was, had two
crazy.
Benedictine monk brothers, right? Can you imagine? I'm the oldest of 6 kids. We're at this big table. The 2 Benedictine monks, the ones who wear the, the Star Wars, they were on one side, and then you'd have these, tarot card readers and mediums on the other, and they would have these amazing debates about, whether astrology was real or not.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was infused with all of that stuff as a kid, and that my whole life read these books and just decided that 50 moment for me was like, damn it, I want to create television for this content. I want to create like mind, body, spirit, a channel. Like, why not? Why isn't anybody doing that? Yeah. And so that was at that moment was what I set out to do. And I left my job at AT&T, and I talked my way into the Discovery Channel, which had just bought the Oprah Winfrey Network. Yeah. And told them that they should do this because they also had Food Network, and I was like, we could do holistic nutrition, and they had HGTV, and I'm like, we could do feng shui. I mean, there's just like so many
Soultopia reality show.
Yeah,
we don't want reality shows.
This is reality, right?
Believe
Got it
me,
right
it would be a bestseller, and not for the right reason. The drama.
but that's my point exactly. Like, so many people are just so infatuated with this content, and every time I talked about it at work, they were like, oh yeah, crystals? What are crystals? So I was like, see, we need to have this network. So my point is this stuff, this life mapping was like, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be following this thread. And I went out and I was in Oprah's conference room a year and a half later talking to her about this content. And so my point is do this work because everybody has this power within them.
Right.
Once they really see the potentiality of what they can do, it takes the fear away. It really does.
Yeah. I love that.
That's pretty cool.
Get busy.
Give me a call. I'll help you.
Get busy, Roger. Listen to me. I feel like I'm talking out from under this bucket hat. I'm Gilligan. What's your name? Matt liked it. Yeah.
He's
She
nodding.
got a Kango. She also
He's
got
nodding.
a Kango hat too.
You
Matt.
want to know how the hat came about?
Oh, geez.
Do you really want to know?
I do.
This is a story. So we're in
I
Vegas.
got screwed on this deal. Let's
Not
just go
my
with it.
favorite place,
No,
Vegas.
me
Okay.
neither.
We were at an event though. We weren't vacationing by any means.
You're at a, yeah, okay. So
And
you were
yeah, we
working.
were at World, not the World Trade. Not the
We were
World
at
Trade.
trade-
We were at a trade
trade
center.
show.
Roger was happy. Met Snoop Dogg, kind of, and so I'm working on him. He will be on here eventually. Mark my words, because I finally got a response. It's just what it takes, you know.
They
you're
all
on here.
wanna know about
it's gonna-
soul.
and it's gonna come around. And then Roger met him, so that was a sign to keep going. But so I'm walking down that despot of humanity on the strip. They're not going to have me as their spokesperson, Matt, for Vegas. And we walked to, what's the name of it?
Margaritaville.
Jimmy Buffett's
All I wanted was
Margarita-
nachos
So I'm talking on my phone
and a cheeseburger.
to
I
my
didn't get.
friend, and he would tell you, he wouldn't mind me saying this, my very, very gay friend. Okay, and he's gone, where are you? And I said, Margaritaville. He goes, oh my God, every straight guy's heaven, paradise, or whatever. That's where you are. And I was like, yeah. And I was trying to talk to him and I couldn't hear him. So then we started texting, and he starts giving me shit. He's like, I can't believe you're there. What are you gonna get in return? Where are you gonna go? So we were there, and then he goes into the little shop and gets some little margarita. And my ex-husband loved Margaritaville too. They both just loved it. They were both Scorpio. I'm like, what is it with this Jimmy Buffett thing? Because I'm not into it, okay? And so,
Gotta open up to it.
what'd you say?
Gotta open up to it.
I got to open up. So I was trying to be really nice, and I wrote to my friend, and I wrote, he goes, where are you going to go after? And he says, I say Gucci. So I said, we're going to go to the Gucci store, and we did.
She got more than that.
I
Matt.
think I won out on the deal.
I'm glad-
I
I'm
think we had we had to readjust the whole carry-on because we had like 3 big.
I had to go buy another suitcase, the larger. So with that much Gucci, I think I deserve the jet ski.
But it was just funny because I was like, Jim, we're at where? And he goes, where
Yeah,
are
Jim.
you?
That's it.
And I told him, he goes, oh, every straight every. And I said,
That's
I don't think
right where they go.
all like it, but I was nice though, wasn't I? Yeah, I was really nice.
Where's those yellow sticky notes?
That's gonna be on his.
I got
Bump and
screwed for
roll.
$30 worth of nachos.
That was
for Gucci.
fear.
He wanted the tower nachos for that tower something nachos.
I wanted nachos, a beer, and a cheeseburger in paradise. All I got was nachos.
Margaritaville.
You said you don't eat a burger.
You got
So
you.
anyway,
Yeah.
Yeah, gotta
and
go
now like, let me see out of the bucket hat and see if we have any money left. But anyway,
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm not thank you. It's about our money.
It's a great story. It's a great story to tell.
It is because, and it was way down there. Let me tell you, when you're walking down that strip,
No, it wasn't.
and I'm going, do we really have to weave between all the girls that don't have any clothes on whatsoever?
That's because they were
they're
grabbing
lit-
everybody to take your picture with them, and she's like,
they
"No,
don't-
you get away from them."
They don't wear any clothes.
No, they don't.
And I'm like,
They don't.
if you, that's gonna sound mean. If you would literally just put a little bit on.
Yeah. No, I went there with my daughter when she turned 21, and I hadn't been there. I had no
don't get it.
idea.
I don't get it.
I was not prepared.
I don't get it. And he even got us like a really nice, Matt knows because we filmed from there, and it was a huge room because he got us up at the top. He can talk people into anything. He got us in the top, and I was like, he said, "Are you ever going to come out of this room?" And I was like, I don't know. I don't know. We didn't gamble at all.
No.
But anyway, that's definitely not our life purpose to
No,
gamble.
not
And
gambling.
I think that would be my hell is being in Las Vegas. Do you like it, Matt?
I've only been a couple of times, so I can't say that I.
Did you go bachelor parties?
Do I go to the
Were they bachelor parties
no,
or
last
anything
time I
like
was in
that?
Vegas, I was 20, so I didn't even get to enjoy it.
Ah.
For a Jimmy Buffett concert, actually. Yes.
You just
I
brought
love
that
how you just
circle.
did that.
You just tied that.
Well done.
See?
Hey,
Perfect.
don't let her joke. She's been to Jimmy Buffett concerts many times.
It's a good time.
It is.
They are
Especially in
actually
Frisco.
fun. I knew that and I'm not making fun of this. I knew it, but it's going to sound like it because I knew that people really were devoted to Jimmy Buffett when there was a poor little man. He had an oxygen backpack.
Oh.
And no, I'm seriously. And he was going out to Jimmy Buffett, and he was smoking. But he had an
Smoking
oxygen.
what?
It was a cigarette.
Oh.
Well, I don't know. I'm not sure, but I don't care what it was. But I thought, is that kind of thing gonna? You
gonna
can't
blow
have
up.
oxygen and fire together, can you?
That's not a safe
That's
proposition.
a different version of Fireballs.
It's like he is really dedicated to Jimmy Buffett. But those are fun concerts. But I liked the guy before Jimmy Buffett. When we were out at the Frisco thing. What was
James
his
Brown?
name? No.
James Brown.
No.
Okay.
That had the plaid hats and stuff. It wasn't James Brown.
James.
Not Dan Fogerty.
No.
Because I can't stand him.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, well, it doesn't matter.
I can't remember who
We'll
it was
figure it
now.
out later. Well, we're not on the air trying to figure out. What was his name? Well, tell us, Karen, where people can reach you for sessions or if they want to book. Do you do group sessions?
I do.
Okay.
I do. Group sessions are actually really fun.
Okay.
Because everybody can help identify the milestones and the ups and downs and the all the strings between. So I really like doing the groups. But they can reach me on my website, which is Karen Loenser. So Karen Loenser, Loenser. It's tough for
Okay.
everybody to say and spell. At Gmail
Okay.
is how they can reach me.
And are we having the books here? Did we?
I have them bring some.
Okay.
that
So
I
we
will
will have
leave
them here.
when I go.
Okay, and for here at Soultopia, and that would be maybe a good team building thing to do here at Soultopia. That would be really good and fun. Why don't we do anything else, burning desire, that I haven't asked you that you want to say about your book?
Gosh, let me think. No, I think you covered all the questions that I sent ahead of time, and again, don't be shy to reach out, even if it's just being curious about how to actually do this work. If you get the book and you have questions, I welcome anyone who has questions from me or how to do it. But I also would like to say, too, you don't have to do everything in the book. I know there's a lot here. And I really did write it as really just as a resource, right? Between learning about other spiritual people that are great, learning little tools and tips and tricks. So you don't have to do every single exercise in the book to really get a lot out of it. It's really just a tool. And if you can do nothing else, just start with the mapping out the life milestones on the wall. It's really fun and it's really simple.
And I would say it's laid out really well. I'm pretty picky about that with books. It's very easy to read, and it's not one of these because I do know what people pick up in the and it has a lot of tables and things like that. So if you're someone who sees a book and a certain thickness and you're like, oh, I'm not going to have time for that, you will. Okay, you will. Yet it is packed full of content. It's not weak on content. But yet at the same time, you can read it and don't be overwhelmed by it.
Thank
and
you.
you could skip around. So it's the perfect combination of those things, I think.
Thank you.
So do you want to grab some cards and we'll do our 1 and 2? Do you have any right there? You want to reach? And if you want to grab me the crystal ones, I'll read with those. I'll just make you reach a little bit more.
I haven't seen this part. I'm excited.
Okay,
What
so,
happens next?
So at the end of our shows, we and tell them while we're doing this, you can tell them one more time where to reach you.
Yes, it's so my Gmail email address is karenloenser@gmail.com, and then my website is karenloenser.com.
That's
really simple.
Very simple.
And also, there are forms on my website that people can download too. So it's there. You'll notice in the book there's a lot of to-dos and worksheets that you can utilize, but you can download them right on my website.
Oh, that's
So,
great.
Yeah, so you don't have to even do them in the book.
That's great.
Yeah.
But you're going to want to get the book because it's good. Okay, so here we go. So if you're at home, if you're listening now, or wherever, it doesn't matter if you're at home or wherever, or if you're listening later, or if you're watching, pick number 1 or number 2 and commit that to memory now. Choose 1 or 2. As Carlton, who works here, he loves to say, no cheating, y'all. Pick 1 or 2. Because,
Of course you did, Carlton.
Because sometimes you get the other number and you go, oh, that one was for me, But no, pick the one that really is for you. They can both be for you if you want them to be, and it'll be for this week. There's really no rules, but we like to say, set your intention of number 1 or number 2 reading going to be for you. So everybody have that in their mind? Okay, good. And Roger's going to read number 1s. Okay? He's going to give a brief reading for this week until next week.
Okay.
For all the number 1s. Anybody pick to number 1.
All right, so
And I'll hold it up if you want me to.
there you go. It's 10 of Swords is what I got today. And what comes with that is the fact that you may have a few challenges this week where you want to basically just go into yourself and escape. Maybe escape to bed, trying to get away from everybody and everything. Actually, take advantage of this time to actually work on yourself from the inside out. Okay, so this, make this an advantage. I think we're actually supposed to get rain in a couple of days. Maybe even, set it and watch the rain and enjoy it, or get outside in the rain. That's even the better for you, to wash off everything that's actually on you now and wash it off.
Clean your wings.
Yep.
Just wash all the ick off your wings. Read Karen's book. Okay. So I'm going to read from our Soultopia crystal cards, and I'm not going to do that one. Some of these I knew I didn't get turned over. I'm going to do one that's... And so I'll give you a reading based on, these are all for the number 2s. And, okay, I got Charlewhite. So Charlewhite, Matt, if you want to show it, it's purple. I'm going to try to get the beautiful purple in here. There we go. Charlewhite is a beautiful, beautiful purple, and then I'll have some black hornblende in there with it. So anytime you get like a really purple stone, you're thinking crown chakra, you're thinking third eye, you're thinking kind of from here up, even up into your higher chakras. It ties very well in with my book, The Magic of Connection, because it's a stone of, back when I wrote these, I wrote transformation. Now I would probably call it a stone of transmutation, where you really are taking energy and you're changing the form of energy. Energy never goes away, it just changes form. You're saying, I am going to change that, and it does say, move forward and break free from old patterns. So just recognizing those things that no longer serve you, and know that you can change that form of energy. You can transmute that and mold it into something new. And it's also, Charlewhite, for all you number 2s, is about your intuition. We all have that. And specifically our clairvoyance would be our third eye. It's clear seeing. So if you have a gut this week, if you feel like, I'm really feel or sense that something's going on, and you have a tendency not to trust your intuition, this would be an opportunity to go ahead and trust your intuition, because Charlewhite helps you see things very clearly. So I'd say trust your gut this week. Okay, if you want to get it validated from someone else, you can. But this would be a good time to practice trusting your gut, because it's probably not leading you astray. If you think something's going on, it could be good or bad, or anything in between, however you want to label it. But if you think something's I'm thinking it's this way, then that's probably how it is for number 2s this week. Just trust. Charlwhite's a beautiful, beautiful stone. And so I wanted to tell you guys about a couple of things before we leave, if you don't mind, Karen. Sure. We have, and I'll let Roger jump in, we have this weekend.
Soultopia Sensation all day Sunday. Sunday, fun day.
What is that?
So on Sunday
explain.
from 12 to 6, we have 20-minute readings. It's $25 all day long.
And healings.
And healings.
Or
Carlton's
energy
doing aura
work.
photography.
And so aura photography, chakra photography, ours do both. And it was interesting. Our machine is the most advanced machine, and we saw that that's the really nice stores in Vegas. That's the nice metaphysical stores. They had our same machine that they were using at 2 of the really nice stores in Vegas to read your aura photo, your aura, and your chakras. And then you also can get an energy work done and at all 3 locations. The aura photos are only here in Carrollton, and you can get readings at all 3 locations. They're all discounted. And also we have Healing Circle this Saturday. That's very inexpensive, I think only $10. You can either come and kind of like a Reiki circle, you can come and help and practice Reiki if you want to practice, or you can come and get energy work, or you can come and do both. And there is someone there moderating that who knows what they're doing so that it's not just a free-for-all of just whatever going on. There is somebody that is holding the space in the room. And so we have that coming up. And we have on October 23rd a really important Zoom event. We have Kathleen Matthews. She's from the UK, and she has written over 90 books.
Wow.
She and her husband, both John Matthews, I believe he's worked on with the director of The Lord of the Rings. And then she wrote the music for King Arthur, that movie, King Arthur. And she's just... I said, can I talk you into singing some Gaelic music to us? And she said, sure. And so, but she's going to be talking about the Marseille deck and the pip cards from that. So it sounds, don't feel like it's too complicated or over your head, because I don't know that much about that system either. So we're all going to learn together. And that's only $35. And that would have been the featured speaker for the Northwest Tarot Symposium. She would have been the featured speaker. She's very well known internationally. Very, very, very well known. She and her husband are both quite prolific writers and well known in the movie business also for their writing and things like that. So for those types of King Arthur and all those types of movies. So that is not this weekend, but next October 23rd. And then we're really excited to announce that we will really soon be, that day, we will announce our speakers for the Northwest Tarot Symposium, our keynote speakers for next year in October, and our Tide, the International Divination event that we are starting here in Dallas, which will be in May. We will introduce our featured speakers, keynote speakers for that, and you guys are going to be really excited.
Yep.
They're really, really good. And then we will open.
They're top secret.
Then they're good ones. And
Michelle
then
won't even tell me.
Yeah, and then we will open the auditions and start taking the applications for vendors and presenters for Dallas and for Portland. Yep. And there will be limited basis for that. Those usually, and that's done by jury. We will have a panel that will decide who will get to speak for those. And here in Dallas, it is definitely going to be a cross-pollination. Don't think it's just tarot. It's not. No. It's going to be health, mind, body, spirit. We're going to have business. We're going to have business speakers here. Hoping maybe I can get Matt there.
Matt's going to be speaking.
But we're going to. But you're going to be really impressed with the keynote speakers at both places. So I did want to let you guys know that exciting news is coming out, and and Soultopia does now own both of those. So we're excited to announce that. And those are the changes, especially here in Dallas. It's new. It's not a change, but it's going to be different than other events that you go to where you just kind of, there's some vendors and it's going to be very, very different. It's very specific. The vendors are, they have to apply, and the vendor and the speakers are, let's just put it this way. I think at one of these, I think the place, it sold out in a couple of days, and the applications were just so many, because these events, once you hear the names, you're going to want to be with us. So we look forward to that, and we look forward to all of you guys getting all the information on that. But first, if you'd sign up for Kathleen Matthews on the 23rd, it's only $35. And honestly, that would be a big blessing to them. The publishing world's been really funny, and they wrote 90 books, and without going all into it, some stuff happened with with the publishing company, and it would be a big blessing if we had a big turnout for that on the 23rd. And that, again, that's just on Zoom, but the link will be available for 30 days. If you're like, well, I'm busy that morning, you can have it for 30 days.
Yeah, and you can sign up for that class. You can just go to Northwest Tarot Symposium, and it's nwtarot.symposium.com.
How do you spell tarot?
Tarot.
Oh,
Tarot. I say it funny.
Sorry.
Yeah, tarot. And so everybody probably also in the rest of the world is going, what is Michelle saying? And now he's caught on. But yes, so NWTAROT, Tarot Symposium. .com, and sign up for, and she will be fascinating. Just anybody who's written over 90 books.
I mean, after writing one.
I mean, yeah. You know.
Oh my
We're
God.
in that club.
Yeah, we are.
We are in that club. Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh my
Thank
gosh,
you for being
so
patient
fun.
with us.
Thanks for letting me. I really enjoyed it.
I look forward to getting together with you more and working through the book. It's and everybody, the book again is LifeMapping, Decoding. You know, I couldn't ever memorize my own subtitle. Decoding the blueprint of your soul. Okay, so everybody come in and get the book, and you might also want to book a session too. But thanks for joining us. See you next week.
Good night, guys.
Thanks for listening to SoulWhat, a Soultopia production. If you're intrigued, searching, or looking to schedule a reading of your very own, visit us in sunny Dallas, Texas, or visit us online at facebook.com/Soultopia Holistic Boutique. And if you like what you heard, subscribe, rate, and review on your favorite podcasting platform to be the first to hear new episodes every Tuesday at 7:30 Central.